Texas football may have had a bye week, but Texas volleyball continued to prove their dominance with victories over Missouri and Vanderbilt. Team USA and Team Europe went head-to-head in the Ryder Cup, and Texas soccer fought for a key win in conference play. All that and more coming up on College Press Box. Good evening and welcome back to College Press Box. I'm Hallie Diamant, hosting with Thomas Fitton tonight. Before we get started, we want to remind you that College Press Box is brought to you by CAT Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. We plan your ride to this weekend's game at catmetro.org. Well, this past week, the Texas Longhorns took on Missouri and Vanderbilt, looking to keep their undefeated run alive and build momentum in conference play, and they did just that. Here's what our Kate and Penelope had to say after the Longhorns' strong showings.
The Longhorns hosted their first SEC opener of the season in Gregory Gym against Vanderbilt and took this home sweep in a fantastic game. Tori Stafford had a big night, reaching her 900 collegiate career kills, with 14 of those kills being in tonight's game. However, the star player was sophomore setter Rella Benny, who made her first collegiate start, filling in for Ella Swindle, who's out of the game due to an injury. Benny had a record high of 36 assists and 3 digs, and even having a spike of her own. Texas defense was the highlight of the game, holding the Commodores to a .153 hitting percentage and Texas hitting for .466, their second highest hitting percentage of the season. Vanderbilt did come on strong during the second set, grabbing the lead to 5-3 and having 4 aces the entire game. But it was just not a match for the strong Texas volleyball team as they secured this sweep and then secured another sweep the following Friday against Missouri, making them 10-0 for the season. Texas volleyball heads to Georgia this Wednesday to play the Bulldogs and keep this undefeated season going.
I'm here at Gregory Gym where number 2 Texas will take on number 21 Missouri. Texas remains undefeated. Let's see if they can keep this streak alive after this top 25 showdown.
From the opening serve, both teams showed fire, but Texas, with their depth and composure, ultimately carried the day. The Longhorns jumped ahead in set 1, their aggressive serving and overall steady play leading them to a 25-19 win. The second set was a dogfight, tied multiple times, momentum shifting back and forth. Missouri pushed hard and threatened late, but Texas finished it off 26-24, closing the set on key swings from Stafford. In set 3, Missouri again battled back from deficit, keeping it tight late, but Texas capitalized on opportunities and closed out 27-25 to seal the sweep. Stafford led Texas with 15 kills, while Swindle added 35 assists and 10 digs. For Missouri, Kaylin Alexander stood out, getting 17 kills and several blocks in a hard-fought performance. Though Missouri showed grit, particularly at the net where they outblocked Texas overall, it wasn't enough to derail the Longhorns.
The Longhorns remain undefeated as they took on the Mizzou Tigers in a thrilling 3-set sweep. Their defense looks strong as well as their young offense. All eyes will be on them this Wednesday as they travel to Georgia to take on the Bulldogs. Will they remain undefeated is the question. And this is Kira for TSTV Sports.
What a week it was for the Longhorns. Texas volleyball showed off their team depth and strength with those conference play wins. Let's go for the first time to Thomas to help break down more from Texas volleyball. Thomas?
Thanks, Hallie. I'm here with Kate MN to talk more about Texas volleyball. She was one of our reporters at the game last week. Welcome, Kate. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Thomas, after a great week of volleyball.
What is different about this team being able to go undefeated compared to last year's still great team but fell short of a championship?
Thomas, it was the new freshman players have been making a difference on this team. From Abby Vanderwall to Carly Spears, they have been making that connection with veterans like Tori Stafford and Ella Swindle. The new energy mixed with the veteran energy was just the key to success. The team's offense has obviously played a large part in this year's greatness. In several matches, they have hit over .4, showing their competitors that they aren't having errors and can get the job done.
Texas was falling short during the third set to Missouri. How did Texas come back to get the sweep against them?
Yes, Texas was down by 5 points late in the third set, and it looked like this set was going to go to Missouri's favor until freshmen Kari Spears and Tori Stafford were key players in this game that helped Texas get the win. Stafford had 15 kills with Spears right behind her with 14. Setter Ella Swindle, who's out earlier this past week for the Vanderbilt game with a leg injury, was back for this game against Missouri and was able to have 37 assists. Texas has not dropped a set at Gregory Gym so far this season with their 5 games played, and I don't think they'll be dropping any sets anytime soon.
The season has been so strong for Texas volleyball, with them currently being undefeated. What is the schedule looking like for Texas as they finish out this regular season?
The schedule is looking great, Thomas. Texas has Georgia and Tennessee this coming week, and then they have Arkansas and Oklahoma right before that red rivalry weekend for football. Then some other SEC teams until Kentucky Wildcats come to Gregory Gym to play the Longhorns. Kentucky is currently ranked number 3 right behind us in ranking. So volleyball fans are going to be waiting until November 2nd on Sunday at high noon to take on the Wildcats.
Thanks for joining us again, Kate. Let's send it back to Hallie at the desk.
Solid work, Kate. When College Press Box returns, we'll take a deep dive into Texas soccer this past week. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Texas soccer got their first conference win of the season against a talented Vanderbilt team via a penalty kick with 10 seconds left in the game. Now for more analysis, let's go to our soccer analyst to take a closer look at this team. Hallie?
Thanks, Thomas. I'm here with Ella Hughes to talk more about this Texas team. Welcome to the show, Ella. How are you?
Thanks, Hallie. I'm doing well. Happy to hear to talk about this team because Friday was such a huge moment for Texas soccer. This group has been battling all season long, and to finally see them get that breakthrough win over a ranked opponent was really special.
Texas just beat number 13 Vanderbilt in dramatic fashion, really down to the wire. What stood out to you most about this match?
What stood out the most was the emotion and the fight from this team. Texas has been so close in a lot of games this season, but to see them finally close it out against a top 15 team made the difference feel even bigger. The moment that everyone will remember is Amelia Villarreal stepping up to the spot, 10 seconds left, and kicking in an amazing goal. The stadium was on edge, the clock was ticking down, and she buried it to make history with the latest game winner ever scored in regulation for Texas. It was a perfect example of how this team never gave up, and it showed how much grit they've been building all year.
So what does this win mean for the Longhorns moving forward in SEC play?
It's a huge confidence boost, and honestly, it could be a turning point for the season. Texas entered that game without a conference win, and to get their first SEC points against a ranked team is a massive step forward. This win ends a long drought, too. It's their first top 15 regular season win since 2017. This win is more than just about 3 points in the standings. It's about confirming that Texas's style of play can compete in the SEC. The Longhorns don't have the most experience on the field, but they're starting to develop an identity built around high energy, pressing, and transitions, and capitalizing on mistakes. Against Vanderbilt, they showed they could take a team that usually dictates the tempo and force them into an uncomfortable situation. Especially later on in the match, they were able to do this. Villarreal's first goal is a perfect example. It came off a fast transition and a creative no-look pass from Ava McDonald. That kind of direct play is exactly how Texas can catch opponents off guard. If they keep leaning into that strategy, it's something that can translate into more results, especially against rivals in the following weeks like Texas A&M.
So who are the players to watch as Texas continues through their season?
Well, I would say the first name that comes to mind obviously is Amelia Villarreal. 2 goals against Vanderbilt and 3 penalty conversions this year already. She's becoming that player who can handle pressure and deliver when the team needs it most. But I think Ava McDonald also deserves a shout-out. Her no-look pass set up for the first goal, and she was the one who drew the foul that led to the red card and changed the tempo of the game in the final minutes. And then there's Kendall Williams, who made 4 big saves and earned her first career start as a goalkeeper. Having that kind of depth and balance is exactly what Texas needs to build on this win. If Villarreal keeps scoring, McDonald keeps creating, and Williams holds it down in the net, this team can absolutely make noise in the second half of the season.
And that'll do it for over here. Thanks for joining us again, Ella. Back to you, Thomas.
Thank you, Hallie and Ella. When College Press Box returns, we'll be talking about the latest from the Ryder Cup. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back to College Press Box. This weekend, the golf world turned its attention to the Ryder Cup. Team USA and Team Europe battled it out in one of the sport's most iconic showdowns. Let's send it over to Thomas for more.
Thanks, Hallie. I'm here with Nolan Clay. How's it going, Nolan?
I'm doing fantastic, Thomas. It was a very interesting weekend of golf, to say the least, and I'm so excited to talk about it.
The Ryder Cup ended in a close score with Europe winning 15-13, but they dominated the first 2 days of play, leading 11.5 to 4.5 going into Sunday. How was Europe able to dominate the U.S. team?
To be honest, it was a combination of European class with a side of really poor decision-making and overall play from the U.S. team. Let's start with the latter. Team USA captain Keegan Bradley got the lineups all wrong from the get-go. In the Friday morning alt shot, he paired up Colin Morikawa and Harris English, the worst statistical pairing the U.S. could have created against Europe's best duo, Tommy Fleetwood and reigning Masters champion Rory McIlroy. It went exactly how everyone thought it would. They got smashed 5-4. But Captain Keegan didn't learn from his mistake. Oh no. He decided to throw the same pairing out there again on Saturday morning, and it worked. After getting embarrassed the day before, Morikawa and English only lost 3-2 this time. Nice job, guys. The bad decisions didn't stop there, though. For some reason, Keegan thought he should play Justin Thomas 3 out of the first 4 sessions, a player who's been really poor since his first win in April at the RBC Heritage. I honestly feel bad for Thomas's partners, Bryson DeChambeau and Cameron Young, because they were trying to win 2 versus 1. To be fair to JT, if you got points for being a cheerleader, he probably would have been MVP, because through the first 2 days, he averaged more waves to the crowd than putts made. And don't think I forgot about you, Scotty Scheffler. Just because we're both Longhorns doesn't mean you can't hold smoke on this show. The best player in the world by a mile went 0-4 in team play. How does that happen? How does a player like Scotty Scheffler implode like that? I honestly don't get it. I could go on and on about the USA disaster class, but it wouldn't be fair if I didn't give Europe its credit. In all my years of watching golf, I've never seen a putting performance quite like that. Every time the U.S. was getting any sort of momentum, they drained a putt to quiet down the raucous Bethpage black crowd. It felt like they were cheating with magnet balls or something. I was totally speechless. In total, the Europeans gained about 8.4 strokes on the greens over the Americans, and that's how they won this tournament. And fair play to them. They 100% deserved it.
You mentioned that the score ended up being close after Sunday. How did the U.S. almost pull off the greatest comeback in Ryder Cup history?
Well, yeah, it's pretty simple, really. As a team, the Europe is greater than the sum of its parts. They bond really well together, know each other's strengths, and step up when the other teammate is struggling. But when the matchup is 1v1, Team USA almost always has the skill advantage, and we saw that during Sunday singles. The U.S. had 7 players compared to Europe's 3 ranked in the top 10 strokes gained-wise in that session. On top of that, they were finally making big putts. Cameron Young, Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau, Scotty Scheffler, J.J. Spahn, and Xander Schauffele were fighting their butts off on Sunday. With 4 matches to go, Team USA only trailed 13.5 to 10.5, needing to win all 4 matches to complete the miraculous comeback. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do it as clutch 18th hole wins from Shane Lowry and Tyrrell Hatton clinched the cup for Europe. It was a great fight from the Americans, winning 8.5 out of the 12 possible points on Sunday, but at the same time, where was this energy for the first 4 sessions? Why is that even with the drunk New York faithful behind you, you can't seem to figure out how to beat Europe when it's 2v2? Is it a camaraderie issue? Is it strategy? Or is it all the above? Whatever it is, it needs to be figured out because they can't keep putting themselves behind the 8 ball going into Sundays.
Now that we've talked about the team's overall performances, let's highlight some of the players. Who were the biggest winners and losers individually this week?
Yeah, I know it's so hard to choose winners because Europe, so many players on Team Europe performed so well. But it would be criminal if I didn't mention Tommy Fleetwood, who in my opinion was the best player all weekend. He led all 24 players in strokes gained, with the most of those strokes coming from his incredible iron play, gaining an astronomical 5.6 strokes on approach play. Tommy Ladd was throwing darts all weekend, making him almost unbeatable. I also think Rory McIlroy deserves so much praise for his performance this weekend. Statistically, Matthew Fitzpatrick and Justin Rose were better than him, but what stats don't take into consideration is the amount of borderline verbal abuse he was receiving. Bethpage Black was making life a living hell for Rory McIlroy, and all he did was respond back every single time. Instead of letting the crowd defeat him, he used it as motivation, and it worked, as he finished the week with a 3-1-1 record. I also want to give a big shout out to Cam Young on Team USA. He was one of the last players on the team, but he absolutely showed out this week. He was the second best player this week strokes gain-wise, only trailing Fleetwood, and rock solid on the greens. I'm really happy for Cam Young, and I can't wait to see him build off this performance. Now to the biggest losers. The biggest loser is Scottie Scheffler, 100%. And the number one player in the world going 1-4 is simply unacceptable. In fairness to him, he was extremely unlucky with his opponent shooting a total of 32 under the first 2 days, but you're Scottie Scheffler. You gotta be better. Of course, another loser has to be Captain Keegan Bradley. He undoubtedly could have helped his team out by playing, but he decided against it, which is a fair choice, but you can't follow it up by making a decision-making nightmare. We already talked about the lineup decisions, but what we didn't talk about was how he set up the course. Keegan thought it would be an advantage to shorten the rough, making it a complete birdie fest, and it completely backfired, and as he admitted in the press conference. At the end of the day, you can only blame the captain so much, but like former captain Zach Johnson, Keegan will be remembered for some of the rash choices he made this week, and he has to live with the embarrassment that comes with being a losing captain in the Ryder Cup.
Great analysis, Nolan. Now back to you at the desk, Hallie.
Thanks, Thomas and Nolan. When we return to College Press Box, we'll take a look at this past week in Longhorn sports and see what's ahead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Let's take a look at this past week in Longhorn sports. Texas edge Trey Moore has been named a semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy. The senior from San Antonio received the nomination following the win against Sam Houston State University. Trey looks to continue his success this weekend against the Florida Gators in the Swamp.
Texas's Matt Kemegi was named SEC Men's Co-Golfer of the Week, sharing the title with LSU's Arnie Svensson. Kemegi's tied for second individually at the Fighting Illini Invitational last weekend, posting a 54-hole total of 5 under 205. Kemegi's and the number 3 ranked Longhorns are back in play today and tomorrow at the Ben Hogan Collegiate Invitational, presented by Charles Schwab at the Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas.
Freshman phenom Kari Spears has been named the AVCA Player of the Week. She totaled 28 kills along with a staggering .6 hit rate. Spears isn't new to the spotlight, as she has also earned SEC Player of the Week honors twice thus far. Kari has been a crucial piece of the number 2 ranked Longhorn success and looks to carry it on against Georgia.
Now, let's take a look at this week in Longhorn sports. Coming up this Wednesday, volleyball is at Georgia, 6 p.m. on the SEC Network Plus. Thursday, we have soccer at Texas A&M, 7 p.m. on the SEC Network. And Saturday, on October 4th, football is going to the Swamp at Florida, 2:30 p.m., and you can watch it on ESPN.
And that will conclude this week's episode of College Press Box. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, please make sure to tune in to our other sports shows this week, including College Crossfire on Wednesdays airing at 9 p.m., and the 1-0 Sports Show on Fridays at 11 a.m. Also, we invite you to follow our coverage on Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube at the handle TSTV Sports. Thank you to our analysts, everyone in the Master Control, our executive producer Kendall Ungar, and all of our reporters in TSTV Sports. I'm Thomas Fitton. She's Hallie Diamant. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.